very end. We came for the smoke, came for the bass, came for the chase, came for the race. So if you hear that roar in the back of your mind, that's the feel coming up on the inside. PHG, PHG, let it ride. Season 4, and it's ours tonight. Start, line tremble, gloves on tight, hands on the wheel and the whole room bright. Break points carved like cuts in stone, every turn got a name of its own. Close draft breath in the mirror glow, one bad move and the pack swings low. Check that line, keep the rear end live, you don't survive here, you drive and drive. PHG in the chant, let it ring, every lap got a hungry thing. Engine shout with a razor edge, we run that edge, we live that edge. Now the tension climbs, now the gridlock's tight. Hear the crowd lean in, feel that first turn bite. PHG, PHG, stomp that name. PHG, PHG, we came for the flame. PHG, PHG, shout it loud. PHG, PHG, shake the crowd. Wheel to wheel, we don't back down. PHG, PHG, take the crown. PHG, PHG, right here now. PHG, PHG, hear that sound. Lap by lap, we own this night. PHG, PHG, all fight. And a hard red stare, one late break and you're hanging there. Tiny mistakes turn into scars, cut too close and you're seeing stars. But the pack keeps coming mean and fast, every second feels like the last. Heat in the seat, no room to freeze, we move like wolves through the S-curve squeeze. PHG in the walls and the bones and the hiss and the crowd and the chrome tone. Say my name with the night on back, we don't drift off, we attack. Listen close. This is where it changes. This is where the calm gets stripped away. One corner, one breath, one heartbeat against a wall of engines. If you came for safe, you came wrong. If you came for slow, you stayed home. PHG is here, and the whole season starts now. Shout it loud, shake the crowd. Wheel to wheel, we don't back down. Take the crown, right here now. Hear that sound, lap by lap, we own this night. All fight, let it fade, but the mark we made won't wash away. Season 4, still in your chest. First lap curse and the final test. One last cry till the checker drops from the sky. We were here, you heard the call. We started all. Welcome to the grid, where the names don't fade, where the first turn shakes and the brave get made. PHG in the air, hear the whole room call. Season 4 tonight, yeah, we came to ball. Chrome on the nose and the tires scream. Every lap a test, every corner a dream. Legends in the lane with the pressure on. When the lights go down, we're already gone. PHG, PHG, let it ring through the dome. Bring that fire to the track, bring it all back home. Drivers on edge, eyes locked, hands cold. One more shot at glory, one more story told. Helmet on tight, heart loud on my chest. Nerves like a wire, but I never rest. Grid full of ghosts with the title to keep. And the whole world waiting when the red lights sleep. Every move sharp, every line stays clean. Close on the inside, cut through the scene. If you want the crown, better hold that pace, cause the legends don't blink in a high-speed race. Hear that shit now. PHG, 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 feel it shake now. PHG, PHG. One breath, one line, one chance to shine. No backing off, it's go time. We go time. PHG, PHG, let it ride. Legends race here, nowhere to hide. PHG, PHG, feel the flame. Season 4, we all know the name. PHG, PHG, take the crown when the lights hit red. We don't slow down. PHG, PHG, hear that roar. The legends race here, and we want more. Late apex pressure, I'm cutting it close. Paint on the bumper, I'm ghost to the ghost. They want my line, but I've been that raw. One hard pass and the whole room cool. Burnt out rubber on the edge of the fight. Every lap counts in the dead of night. If the pack comes close, I don't move back. I hit that gap like a clean attack. Hear that chant now. PHG, PHG, PHG. Feel it shake now. PHG, PHG. One breath, one line, one chance to shine. No backing off, it's go time. PHG, PHG, let it ride. Legends race here, nowhere to hide. PHG, PHG, feel the flame. Season 4, we all know the name. PHG, PHG, take the crown when the lights hit red. We don't slow down. PHG, PHG, hear that roar. Legends race here, and we want more. Yeah. Look at that lineup. Look at that pressure. This is where the fast learn fear, and the fearless learn speed. PHG, World Series Season 4. Not a warm-up, not a preview. This is the race. This is the run. This is where legends move. Take the signal, lock the pace. One more lap, one more chase. Hands stay steady, eyes stay true. Every rival pushing through. When the crowd all rise and the engine scream, we break the limit, we own the drive. PHG, PHG, let it ride. Legends race here, nowhere to hide. PHG, PHG, feel the flame. Season 4, we all know the name. PHG, PHG, take the crown when the lights hit red. We don't slow down. PHG, PHG, hear that roar. Legends race here, and we want more. PHG, legends race here. Season 4, we're live, we're locked, we're going. Welcome in, buckle in, tune that grip. PSG World Series Season 4, let it rip. 4 wheels, hard lines, one more lap. Hear that chant, shake the whole room back. PSG, PSG, say it again. From the first green light to the very end. We came for the smoke, came for the pace, came for the chase, came for the race. So if you hear that roar in the back of your mind, that's the feel coming up on the inside. PSG, PSG, let it ride. Season 4, and it's ours tonight. Start, line tremble, gloves on tight. Hands on the wheel and the whole room bright. Break points carved like cuts in stone. Every turn got a name of its own. Close draft breath in the mirror glow. One bad move and the pack swings low. Check that line, keep the rear end live. You don't survive here, you drive and drive. PHG in the chant, let it ring. Every lap got a hungry thing. Engine shout with a razor edge. We run that edge, we live that edge. Now the tension climbs, now the gridlock's tight. Hear the crowd lean in, feel that first turn bite. PHG, PHG, stomp that name. PHG, PHG, we came for the flame. PHG, PHG, shout it loud. PHG, PHG, shake the crowd. Wheel to wheel, we don't back down. PHG, PHG, take the crown. PHG, PHG, right here now. PHG, PHG, hear that sound. Lap by lap, we own this night. PHG, PHG, all fight. stress and a hard red stare. One late break and you're hanging there. Tiny mistakes turn into scars. Cut too close and you're seeing stars. But the pack keeps coming mean and fast. Every second feels like the last. Heat in the seat, no room to freeze. We move like wolves through the S-curve squeeze. PHG in the...
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another round of the PHG World Series. We are in Season 4. We are here for Round 3. We are going to be running Split 2 today. I am joined in the broadcast booth by the proprietor, the reason we're all here, a man who needs no introduction, Papa from Papa's House of Game. How you doing, Papa?
I'm doing good, Sal. Good afternoon, everybody. Y'all ready? We saw a couple great races yesterday. I'm expecting a final race to be just as good as it was yesterday. So, yes, let's get this thing going.
Yeah, I'm hoping so. Those races yesterday were pretty exciting. I was behind the scenes running it yesterday, and it was a blast watching all that go down and listening to you guys run commentary yesterday. It was a good time. Good time. Hoping to really have
It was.
an exciting race here this afternoon. But before we get into the races, we want to make sure to thank our sponsors who help make all this possible.
Sponsor.
First off, we got SimNet. SimNet Racing is focused on delivering high-quality, affordable sim racing hardware, highlighted by their SP Pro load cell pedal set, designed to provide precise braking feel, consistency, and improved control for competitive drivers. Built by sim racers for sim racers, their products strike the perfect balance between performance and accessibility. You can find them at simnetracing.com. If you place an order, use discount code PHGGTWS for an 8% discount on your order.
All right, then we also have Paul Davis. With decades of experience in residential and commercial restoration, Paul Davis Restoration is a trusted leader in emergency services, water and fire damage restoration, mold remediation, reconstruction, and large loss recovery. Their commitment to professionalism, rapid response, and customer care has made them a respected name across the industry. And you can find them at pauldavis.com.
And of course, we've got 4D Racewear, makers of the ultimate sim racing shoes and custom apparel designed for sim racers by sim racers. 4D sim racing shoes are custom engineered to connect racers to the pedals in a way no other racing shoe can, and still provide all the control needed for those double and triple stints. Visit 4dracewear.com and check out the original racing gloves for your feet. And if you visit them and place an order, use discount code PAPA10X or Salamander10X. Both of them work for a 10% discount off your order. Good quality stuff there at 4D Racewear. Go check them out at 4dracewear.com.
All right, and then our fourth sponsor for the PHG World Series, we have MZW. MZW delivers high-quality sim racing gear, including custom GT-style wheel replicas and premium accessories built for performance, precision, and immersion, especially with the Fanatec ecosystem. And you can find them at mzw-simhardware.com.
Yes, thank you. Sponsors, you help make all of this possible.
Right.
And now we'll go to the event. Let's get a list of what we're going to be seeing today. Papa, can you take us through the settings?
But of course. Again, we are in the fourth season of the PHG World Series. This is round 3, a 90-minute endurance race at Suzuka, where we're going to see rain, you're going to see darkness, you're going to see all kinds of stuff. But the tires are set at a 4-time wear rate, and I know the graphic says none required. It's quite the opposite of that. It is all racing tires are required, the hards, the mediums, and the softs. So you're going to see a bunch of pit strats today. The fuel is set at a 4-time rate with a 3 liter per second refill rate. So really slow in the pits. So watch for that to actually play a part. And the cars we're racing, being the Toyota Cup. So we got GT1, GT3, and they're all Toyotas. Not Hondas. Sorry, Suzuka.
Yeah, this is gonna be an exciting race. Watching this multi-class stuff. We saw it yesterday. Watching
Yeah.
those passes happen with those Group 1s zipping around the Group 3s, it should be an exciting one. And with that said, some say he once bit a zombie and cured them, but it just turned out to be a cured ham. We're talking about our own professional race car driver, the Rozzy. We're going to see a demo lap and how this all shakes out at Suzuka. So first off, in the Group 3 cars, we've got the Rozzy in the Supra heading down the long straight, headed to turns 1 and 2, which is a double right-hander. We're going to watch. He starts getting under braking right at that exit road and wants to slip it out wide, get back down to the apex in order to get hauled up for the S's. Now, going through the S's here is a very fast, flowy section. A lot of feathering of the throttle back and forth, maybe just a dab of the brakes to get that turn in. Want to hit all those apexes. Make sure to get through nice and fast. You don't want to get off the racing line and overdrive it. It's a common thing that can happen there. As we get into this fast left-hander, again, you want to make sure to nip that apex and let it drift out wide, but don't get in the grass. The Rozzy does not get in the grass. He keeps it straight. Get far off to the left. A little dab of the brakes as you come into the right-hander for Degnar 1. Same thing for Degnar 2. We certainly saw a lot of spins coming out of Degnar 2 yesterday.
Yeah.
The Rozzy, of course, keeps it clean. As we come down to the hairpin, again, a heavy braking zone. Want to use all the track at all possible. Get down to that apex and power on out, because this is one of 3 long sections of the track. You have a long sweeping right-hander as we get to Spoon. We should see a lot of Group 1 and Group 3 passes here as the Group 1 drivers, stay patient. We get on the brakes. You want to trail brake into Spoon here. Again, ship it out wide. Try to get back to the apex. Don't get on the throttle too soon. You got to delay that as you come on out. Use all the track, and now we got our last long section. Again, good passing zone here as we approach 130R. As we get there, again, in the Group 3 cars, you're going to have to let off. You're going to have to lift a little bit just to make it through there. Again, use all of it, and then get on those brakes just before the 100 board. You want to make sure to not overdrive the first corner of the Casio triangle so you can power on out. Again, being very careful not to lose the rear end as you come to the start-finish line, and that's a lap with the Group 3 Supra. And now we're going to watch these Group 1 cars. It's going to be all the same thing, but man, is this going to go by so much faster as they come down the straight. Once again, they're going to hit the brakes. There's going to be a lot more trail braking in these cars where, again, they just chuck it out wide, bring it back down to the apex, and power on out as they get up to the S's here. And again, just a lot of lifting and coasting, feathering that throttle, trying to get that car to turn in. Sometimes you burp the throttle or you tap the brakes. We can see the Rozzy doing that as he gets on through there. Once again, you can kind of chuck it back and forth across the track as we get through this fast left-hander. Once again, don't get on the grass because that will kill your race. Get back all the way over to the left so you can get into Degnar 1 nice and smooth. Again, get into Degnar 2. Avoid those curbs as you turn in. We don't want to have the car spin out in the braking zone, especially when the track is still wet. We get into the hairpin once again. Tries to get down to the apex. The Rozzy here, he is human, or at least we think he is. He missed the apex on that one, but still lots of speed coming up to Spoon here. Again, big passing zone. Going to have to make sure to, get around those Group 3 cars. Once again, trail brakes into Spoon, all the way to the outside, coming in late on the, get back on the gas, power on out again to the long straight section as we get to 130R. Going to be carrying a lot of speed, but with these Group 1 cars, they don't have to lift at all. They can just run straight through here, throttle pinned to the floor, and again, don't even make it all the way to the outside, no problem. Again, get under braking, trail brake as you get into this first corner of the Casio triangle so you can power on out, being, once again, careful not to lose the rear end. And that is a full lap in the Group 1 cars at Suzuka.
Awesome stuff.
Oh,
and
watching those Group 1s, I mean, it's the same lap, but holy, is it so much faster. So
yeah, they're like 15 to 20 seconds a lap faster than the Group 3s. They fly around this course.
It is crazy. So with all that said, now let's get to the list of what drivers we're going to see today in Split 2. Papa, can you take us through who we're going to see here this afternoon?
Absolutely. So at first place, starting on the pole, will be PHG Estes. He ran just under or just over a 2-minute flat. to grab that pole for this race. Behind him, we'll have King Apex, Felmora, NVR Saint, Florinota, NVR Krulov, and Fernando Button. They'll round up our GT1 field. Now, I do think Florinota is a DNS today. Failed inspection, so they DQ'd him or something. I don't know. He's not able to make the race. GT3, we have sitting on pole for GT3. We have Sector 7 Racing Nuke, Diablo, PHG Vetterdan, Sector 7 Digital Relay, PHG C-Dubs, Stamps, and Stumpy.
All right, that is one stacked lobby we've got here.
I was
for Split
just going to say that. That's a stacked race.
Every single one of those drivers can and has made it into top split here in the PHG World Series. So this is going to be an exciting one. Lots of experience there, lots of good talent. So should be a fun one to watch. Now, I know yesterday, Papa, you were helping commentate yesterday. What were your overall thoughts on the races yesterday, and what were the big differences you may have saw between like split 1 and split 3?
So in both races, I guess the weather definitely plays here in the early laps, like first 5, 6, 7 laps. Well, this track is super wet and continues to dry out as it goes through, but cars are just sketchy. Drivers have got to be careful. Avoid those curbs because those things are like ice. But I mean, tire strats are all over the board, having to use all 3 compounds. And as we saw in especially in the first race, fuel. Drivers have got to watch their fuel because we had a couple run out.
Looks like we are getting this race underway. We got Ecstasy on the pole. As we can see, it is raining cats and dogs out there, R07. I'm sure we're going to have some cars starting on the wet, some on the inters. We'll have to run through that after this gets underway, but the lights are out. Ecstasy off the line. King Apex getting a heck of a run. Takes over first place right off the bat. Ecstasy struggling to get up to speed. As they come into the first corner, Saint, the big dive goes off a little too wide on that corner. King Apex, though, hanging it down. Doesn't look like anybody got into anybody else. Everybody is still line astern, as they say, as they get into the S's. Looks like everybody's getting through nice and clean. There was a little bit of too wide back there, but it looks like they've sorted that out. The S's are not a place where you're going to want to try to make a pass.
Yeah.
And it is so wet out there.
Group 3 cars got away good. They're all nose to tail coming through the S's just like the long snake, working their way through.
Yeah, we can see in the track map. You can see in the track map in the upper right, they're all still pretty close together, but we should see the Group 1 pack kind of break away from the Group 3 pack as we get through. In fact, we can already see a gap forming. Estacy's back in P2, getting really close to King Apex, trying to see if he can retake that first spot. Had a great qualifier, definitely got down to the Apex in the hairpin, going for the pass. Oh, but once again, it looks like King Apex able to get better acceleration, get that power down. Looks like he is using traction control. I'm wondering whether Ecstasy is doing the same, but Ecstasy somehow able to make the pass with the slingshot around as they enter into Spoon. Nice. Completes the pass cleanly. Good job, Ecstasy. They get through the second corner of Spoon here. Onto the straight. King Apex falls back a little bit. And now has Felmora all over the back there. Looks like second, third, fourth. Trying to stay in the slipstream. Felmora trying to hold off Saint. We're coming to 130R here. Yep, Felmora backs off so they can go through one at a time. No issues there. Get with the heavy braking zone with the Casio triangle. Just trying to manage the wet. Try not to spin out. These first half dozen laps, like you said, Papa, they're looking to just survive at this point.
Yeah. I mean, it's a long race. Just survive till the track dries out. Don't do anything foolish.
It looks like Saint trying to make a move on King Apex as well. Does get the slingshot, but overdrives it again. He was wide. Oh, loses it. Oh, King Apex actually helped him out and straightened him out. Saint now still in P2. King Apex going to try to tuck in. Yep, gets in just behind him. Oh, that could have been a disaster, but was able to hold on to it.
just as a side note, Sal, I just went through all the drivers. We only have one driver that started on the intermediate tires. Everybody else is on full wets. Vetterdan is on the intermediates, and right now he is currently second to last in the Group 3. But watch for him as this track starts to dry out here in the next couple laps. He's going to start making some gains, I think, on the rest of these cars in front of him.
Yeah, I would have expected, with the way the track dries out in the game, the cars ahead, the track is wetter, and as each car goes across, it does dry out more. So the Group 3 cars naturally are going to have a drier track sooner than the Group 1 cars. And, we've certainly seen it where the intermediate runners are going to struggle here in the beginning. They're very much going to be trying to just hang on. But as the track starts to dry out, they're going to gain the advantage. And they're going to be able to last a little bit longer before having to get onto that racing tire. If they're not, real confident running the racing tire when the track is still wet, especially, just off the racing line, they will have the ability to kind of keep running it. The intermediates kind of act a lot like the hards when things start to dry out. So you don't lose a lot at that point, but you do lose a little. You can maintain a little bit of that confidence and stay out a little longer if you've got the intermediates and survive the rain a little bit better. But yeah, it's just a matter of who's going to be the brave one to try to get onto those racing tires first. We are nowhere near that right now. The track is still very wet, but it is slowly starting to approach that intermediate line already.
Yeah, I was surprised in yesterday's races how early they did come in and put on those racing tires. I mean, it was a narrow racing line. So sketchy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like King Apex still sitting back and forth and now is under attack by Krulov, who's also looking to try to make that pass. King Apex had a heck of a start there at the beginning, but is now fallen off as people have settled into a groove. Looks like Ecstasy, after regaining the first spot, has started to drive away from the rest of the pack.
He is.
The pack.
Well,
we got Fernando back there in
look
P6.
At replay of what happened to last place.
Making a replay here. Let's see what we got. We got we got Vetterdan, P12. He comes through the Casio Triangle. We got Stumpy. Oh, Vetterdan lost it. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
getting on the gas too soon. I think Stumpy was able to just get around.
Yeah.
No,
But Vetterdan, the rear end. Lost the rear end coming out of there. Oh, that was Stumpy, not Vetterdan. You're right.
Yeah.
We've got S7R's Nuke currently leading the way in Group 3. Looks like he's got a 1.8 second lead over Diablo. Holding on there, we can see the track still full wet conditions right now. They are on the full wet tires. Diablo also on the full wet tires in the wet conditions. So they're about as comfortable as they can be while trying to drive around in this rain with C-dubs. Running in P3, stamps at P4 for the Group 3 class. Here they go heading down to Spoon, trying to carry as much speed. They're going to have to be careful as they get into the braking zone.
Stumpy just lost it again out of Degnar 2.
Oh, Stumpy.
P13.
Degnar 2, we saw that yesterday. There were a
Yeah.
lot of people losing it. If you get on the brakes too much, that rear end can just kick around on you. And, oh, man, C-dubs were watching that tail end just kind of wag as he tries to get the power down. Trying to keep up to Diablo. He's still with him. Within 0.8 seconds, so he's certainly got the slipstream, but they're coming to 130R where they got to lift to get through, and the dirty air will affect you in 130R. If you're the car following, you kind of have to lift a little bit more than somebody who's leading. They get through the Casio Triangle, completing lap 3, the Group 3 cars.
Yeah. You can see that the track is starting to dry out a little bit. And watching Vetterdan, his delta to digital relay in front of him is definitely coming down rapidly.
Yeah, it was all of not even a minute ago we were saying that it was still full wet conditions, but yeah, you can see it is below that second bar, so we are now definitively in intermediate territory. That intermediate tire should come alive for Vetterdan. The other cars are going to get a little bit more grip, but not as much grip as the intermediate is, and King Apex still being harassed by Krulov, who is right behind him, heading to Spoon here. Again, big braking zone to start with. A lot of trail braking as you head into Spoon. And you want to get on that power as early as you can for this long straight. But if you get on too early, ooh, King Apex with a wiggle, that might affect his momentum.
Yeah.
Krulov is reeling him in. It's a matter of whether he can get the pass done before we get to 130R. They are side by side. King Apex relents, gives him the spot. Smart move.
Krulov went wide there. Nice save.
Heavy braking into the Casio triangle. Again, we're seeing that dry line form visually in addition to seeing the moisture meter. Krulov's starting to pull away.
Oh, Stumpy off track again. And something must have happened to Vetterdan as well, because he was down to almost 3 seconds. Yeah, he's 8 seconds behind Digital Relay.
Yeah, like we said, this first part of the race is trying to survive the wet. You know, Vetterdan, I mean, who knows? Knowing that he's on intermediates and the fact that the moisture meter started to come down, you know, you hope that he's not getting overconfident and think that he wants to overshoot it and kind of get some of that stuff back. But, you know, Vetterdan's a talented driver. We will see him certainly climb the field as this race goes on. He can get settled in. S7R Nuke still holding on to the lead in Group 3. Coming around to complete lap 4.
Diablo coming in the pits, getting off those wets. Ooh, this is going to be sketchy if he goes to his racing tires this early.
Ooh, we could see that the track is still pretty wet. I mean, it is in intermediate territory, but it is not, you know, down to the bottom of that. That is really early, unless he's going to take a strat where he actually jumps onto intermediates and tries to set some faster laps. I don't know if it's going to be wet long enough for that to work, but be interested to see exactly what he does. He's still fueling up here and should be coming out shortly. And he did, coming out on the intermediates. I don't think we saw that strat yesterday.
No,
so we'll see how this works out. Trying something different. Back in P12, which would be P5 in Group 3. We'll have to keep an eye on him, see how much he can drop that. He is 19 seconds behind Vetterdan, who is also on intermediates. But these are fresh tires. 7R Nuke approaching the hairpin. The C-Dub's not too far behind, 3.8 seconds.
And I think by the end of this lap, you're going to see the Group GT1 drivers start lapping some of these Group 3. And this is sketchy time of the race, because there's not much of a racing line to try and pass these Group 3 cars. They got to be really patient when they come up to them.
Yeah, we can see the moisture meter now getting down to that intermediate territory. This is the point where you could be on racing tires, but like you said, Papa, you get off of that racing line, it gets very difficult. You got to wonder if any of the Group 1 drivers are thinking, you know what, if I can go in and pit now, that's going to give me more space between me and the Group 3s. Yeah, and then maybe they'd be able to pass them while the Group 3s go in the pits and not have to challenge while on that racing tire. But
good thinking.
You know, we'll see how this goes. And Stamps runs a bit wide. God, when you go wide there in 130R, you got to make sure to not turn the steering wheel too much, because that back end will swing out on you. He kept it straight, didn't lose too much time. Finishing off lap number 5, we see Nuke and C-Dubs and Digital Relay have all dove into the pits.
Digital Relay might have crossed the pit lane entry line. It was really close.
Looks like all the Group 1 drivers, from what I can tell, have all stayed out. Maybe they're trying to do the opposite. They're going to stay out for an extra lap or two, get that pass done, and then get into the pits and just come out of the pits ahead of Group 3. So
Digital Relay both came out on racing softs. Oh, and Digital Relay did get that 3-second pin.
Oh, dang. That's a heartbreaker. He's got Diablo right behind him. Diablo, the one who switched to the intermediates and is now running. He's only gotten 1 lap in on those intermediates, and we're already getting into dry territory. We will probably see him get off the racing line and try to keep those tires cooled down. Yeah. There we go. We see S2C passing some lap traffic. C-Dubs out of the way. No problem getting through there.
Got some GT1 drivers in the pits, 2nd through 4th, and all come in.
Yeah.
It looks like Ecstasy and Fernando are the only ones that have stayed out.
Yeah.
Ecstasy still on the wet, still has over half a tire left. But we're going to see if the undercut is going to work here. Those guys that get onto the racing tire first are certainly going to be able to put in a faster lap now while Ecstasy is still out on the racing tire, but they've got to be able to handle it. Can't get off that racing line.
See, Apex came out on racing softs, Saints on racing hards, and Felmora's on racing mediums.
Ecstasy with the dive there on Diablo to get around in the hairpin. Made it work. Everybody survived it. But now Estacy's still trying. He's got a 27-second lead over Fernando. Fernando also has not pitted yet. So really, what's the gap between Fernando and King Apex? Because King Apex, I believe, has gone to the pits. Only 4.4 seconds. So that means there is a 31-second gap between Ecstasy. Oh, and who just went off there? Was that Stumpy again, off in the hairpin. Stumpy having a rough start to this race. Hopefully he can get that settled down. Hopefully it's just some nerves. Take us through this, Papa, as he comes into the hairpin.
He just got it. You can see he got out there too wide. Got those right-hand tires. I'm sure he was trying to get out of the way as King Apex was coming up behind him. But he got those right side tires out there in that wet, and it just wasn't turning. He is on the racing softs, so had those slicks on.
Yeah, we saw that a lot yesterday, especially under braking, when you're trying to stay out wide in order to get the most you can out of it and Ecstasy into the pits. We're going to see where Ecstasy comes out compared to King Apex and the rest of Group 1. But like I was saying, you get onto the wet line, especially under braking, and it will just zip the car around on you. We saw that time after time yesterday. So we'll see how these guys do. Fernando also in the pits, getting off of those wet tires. King Apex has made the pass. Along with Saint, looks like they are going to come out ahead of Ecstasy. Ecstasy going to slot in P4.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's
so
just
the undercut.
One lap difference.
One lap, and that undercut got passed by 3 drivers. So only 2 seconds off of Felmora. Does come out on the racing mediums. I think we saw some of these drivers had come out on the racing softs.
Yeah, a total variety.
Yeah, so now we're going to see
compounds.
We're going to see a lot of different strategies play out now, because as we mentioned at the beginning, they have to use all 3 racing tires. So you're going to have some people are going to get the hards out of the way first, some people are going to run the mediums, and some are just going to do the softs while it's still a little wet and a little cool. Maybe make those softs last a little longer. SC getting around stamps, the lap traffic there. But yeah, this is all going to play out. They're going to get spread out. And then at the end of the race, this is all going to come back together again. That's the beauty of this multi-class, multi-pit strategy, scenario we got going on here. But Ecstasy is caught up to Felmora. He was 2 seconds back coming out of the pits. Has narrowed that down to 1 second already. Felmora also on the racing mediums. Oh, we got a traffic jam here. Saints and Felmora getting around digital relay. They were able to make it work, but it's difficult when you get off that racing line. It's still wet. The racing line is getting wider. We can see it drying out, but the curbs, they're so deadly.
Back in GT3, we had Vetterdan, who is our class leader, but he has yet to pit. He's still running those intermediates, and he is losing time rapidly to Sector 7 Nuke, who's on the softs coming up behind him, especially through these S's.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. I wonder if he's just trying to stretch it out a bit more in order to limit the amount of laps he's going to have to take on hards later in the race. He could be looking at the long game, or he could be a little short-sighted and just be enjoying being in front right now. We'll see as this unfolds. We still have an hour and 13 minutes to go.
Yeah, we're
in this
still
race,
new.
people. Yeah, this is all very early on. This is a big transition period as we go from the wet to the dry, and we see all these cars get spread out. Going on board with Saint here, who is now in P2, still has Felmora all over the back end and not far behind Ecstasy, who was our leader early on. Hasn't lost track of this pack. This seems to be the fight right here. P1, King Apex, is 3 seconds up the road, still within sight. Top 4 all still having a good battle here. King Apex putting on a show.
with P9 C-dubs. He was I think it was Kulov was trying to get by him as they were coming into that hairpin. It looked like there was a little bump and Kulov ended up going up off track.
Not good. Got to be careful when getting those passes done. Again, this is the really difficult time. I mean, it's so easy for the Group 1s to get around. We saw it yesterday where there was I forget who it was, there was a driver up behind a Group 3 driver, and we were going, why are they not going around them? And it was like, oh, because it's still wet, aside from the car. They had to wait to get out of, it was either the S's or Spoon, but was showing a lot of patience, just hanging out, driving slow behind the Group 3 car, and then once they got onto the straight, was able to get the pass done easily. Sign of a smart, mature driver there trying to do that. It looks like Felmora got around. Saint was in front, wasn't he? I think Felmora just got, or was Felmora ahead? I forget. I have a short term.
I forget too.
But it looks like they have got a little bit of distance there. 0.8 seconds between Saint and Felmora. STC still 2.5 seconds back now from Saint. Yeah, that's right. STC was chasing down Felmora, but now has fallen back a little bit as it looks like this is starting to turn to nighttime here on lap 10. It gets started quick.
King Apex getting held up behind a Group 3 car through both Degnars. Felmora was able to close up right on his bumper now. That was about a 2-second loss for King Apex.
Yeah, it gets tough today.
Yeah.
I mean, the Degnars aren't a good spot to pass. The corners are too close to each other. You kind of have to wait it out. So it's a matter of timing. That's a lot of what these Group 1 drivers have to do is sort of, there may be times where you need to lay off just to make sure that when you catch that Group 3 car, it's at the right time. So we see King Apex and Felmora getting around Nuke now, and Felmora all over the back of King Apex. Could use the slipstream to get around, but again, got to watch the side. You don't want to be side by side into 130R, especially with the track still wet. Felmora backs off. Lets King Apex take it through. Thought about it, but thought better of it.
Saint!
Big crash. Saint too late on the brakes. I think he got onto the wet and lost it. Collected Felmora.
Yep, that's exactly what happened.
STC up into P2. Take us through this, Papa.
It just like you said, just coming around this left-hander, trying to catch these guys since they were side by side. Just got out there in the wet and just lost it, and just barely clipped that right rear of Felmora.
Thank goodness for the little bit of ghosting we had. STC was able to drive right through him. A little bit of video game physics there, but
speaking of STC, he just lost it in turn 1.
Felmora back up into P2. You're seeing all sorts of chaos here. Still in the first third of this race. STC still in P3. Saint, the big loser in that.
Vetterdan finally in the pits, getting off those intermediates.
Curious to see what he goes to.
He was out there a long time. He lost a lot of time to these guys racing on the hards on the racing compounds.
Yep. Here he goes, coming out of the pits.
And stamps, yep.
It's like the track is still wet coming out of the pits there, but he was able to manage it. Comes out just ahead of Diablo. And not too far behind Stamps, as you said. So he did lose a lot of time. Certainly not in the first place position, but also hashtag not last. So he is on the racing soft, so he may be looking to now make up some time and run those softs as long as possible while it's dark out.
Yeah. And Nuke, who is our class leader, Group 3 class leader, he is also on the softs, but he has already used up half his tires. So Vetterdan staying out. He should be able to close down on these guys a little bit who came in earlier than him.
Yeah, Nuke is probably starting to feel the effects of that tire wear already.
Yeah.
So probably going to be slowing down, but we'll see. I mean, they both still have to use the hard tire. At this point, Vetterdan will likely have fewer laps. He'll have to put on the hard tire, but put more on the intermediate. So tomato, tomato at that point.
Yep. And it does look like Stumpy's settled into the race too. He's actually closing, even with all these off-track incidences, and he is now only just over 5 seconds behind Diablo, so he's staying with these guys. So kudos for that.
Man, we got 10th, 11th, and 12th nose to tail here.
Yeah,
Coming to 130R. They will have to lift to get through. Looks like they clipped Apex there. Vetter Dan gets through just fine. All three of them get through just fine. Under braking into the Casio triangle. Nobody trying to force the issue at this point. Just still kind of settling. Whoa, Vetter Dan!
man.
Oh, he lost some momentum. But it looks like it bottled up the other two. They weren't able to keep the throttle down either
Yeah,
and had to back off. So now they're still, all those stamps right up on his bumper. It's like not going to go for it at this point. Probably a
Diablo
smart move.
coming inside.
Stamps went a little bit wide. Diablo's there. They gave each other space. They are teammates.
Yes, they are teammates. However,
Aren't
not
they?
for RTR anymore.
They are now
They are
PHG.
PHG members, yes.
Look at that. Great racers,
Still
better people. Diablo got that pass done through the
That was
S's.
impressive. Yeah, that was impressive.
That was impressive. Absolutely.
Oh, he's running wide. He kept it.
Diablo trying to get some
Diablo.
space, but now Stamps up the inside. As they come to Dignar 1, he backs out, lets Diablo through.
Diablo ran a little wide, got out into that wet grass and had to let off a little bit. That's why Stamps was able to close back in on him like as fast as he did.
Yeah, we're
Great
seeing quite
racing.
we're seeing quite a bit as these guys exit these corners and they go out and use some of that runoff area. We can see the water kicking up. It is still plenty wet out there. They got to be careful not to lose that rear end if they've got that steering wheel still pulled in too tight as they exit. Could be disaster. Haven't seen a lot of it. We've had a few crashes, but it's actually been not too bad as they get through Spoon here. It's like 10th, 11th, and 12th have sped out a little bit, and Stumpy off in Spoon, just overdrove, trying to get into the second corner of Spoon. Let's see how this turned out here. Gets through the first corner, into the second, and just lost the rear end, or lost the front end.
On him.
Yep, front tires just didn't grab. Must have been out. It's one of those where you're on the dry line, then you touch the wet line, and you just lose all your steering.
Yeah, especially like his tires too. Got a couple drivers like this, but they're on the racing softs, and those things are pretty worn. Might try and squeeze a couple more laps out of it, but they're going to learn that they're not going to get the grip that they've been used to the last few laps.
Yeah, so now it makes sense. Stamps is on the racing hards. So he is back in 12th, but you can see very little tire wear. Has plenty to go. Only has about a third of a tank of fuel. I think we saw this yesterday. The fuel is the limiter. You can't run your racing hards all the way down.
Right.
You end up running out of fuel first, but Stamps here at about Stamps has about half a tank in round racing hards, so doing a little bit better on fuel.
Want to go through the grid.
Right. At this point, we are with about an hour left to go. We are a third of the way through. Let's run through the entire grid. We have King Apex up in front, running currently on the racing softs with those wearing down. Had taken the lead over early, fell back, and is now back up in P1. We got Felmora in second place right now on the racing mediums. Got about a half a tank of fuel and a little over half of that tire left. Has had an incident, but still comfortably in P2 with an 11.8 second gap to NVR Saint, who is currently on the racing hards, also with about half a tank of fuel. Got involved in that braking incident after 130R, but has maintained a podium position.
Yeah.
P4, we have Ecstasy, who started on the pole with a great time, but ended up getting mired back in a little bit of traffic. Also running on the racing mediums, has over half a tank of fuel left, did pit one lap later than some of these other drivers, but P4 sniffing at that podium spot. P5, we have Krulov, currently running on the racing hards, getting those hards out of the way, also with about half a tank of fuel, just putting in some consistent laps back there. Then we got Fernando bringing up the rear of the Group 1 field in his Sunoco car. Looks like running on the racing softs, did not fuel it up all the way. probably did the math, figured out how many laps was going to get on the racing softs, and didn't want to overfuel it. Probably within another lap or so, we'll be coming in to get off of those tires as they're running low on fuel. Oh, it goes wide in 130R here, but keeps it straight. Good job, Fernando. And that's it for our Group 1 class. We now switch to Group 3. S7R's Nuke currently leading the way. Looks like had that same strategy. Low on fuel, low on the racing soft tires. Got the softs out of the way. Has a 22-second gap on P2, which is C-Dubs. Let's see, C-Dubs also running on the racing softs. He did fill it up all the way.
Yeah.
A lot more fuel, but is going to be running these softs down. Looks like now tomato here. Once he comes in to get off these softs, he won't have to fuel up as much.
Right.
So he will gain a lot of that time back, whereas Nuke will have to fuel up some more. But yeah, sitting in P2 for Group 3. And then we got Digital Relay, currently position 3 in the Group 3 class, also racing softs, really low on fuel. Looks like they're barely going to make it around for lap 13 here.
He's pitting this lap. He's got to.
Most definitely. And follow right behind them is Vetter Dan and P4 in the Group 3 class. Vetter Dan stayed out really long on those intermediate tires, running the racing softs, but has plenty of grip still left to go, so looking to make some passes when people come in the pits. Speaking of which, C-Dub's in the pits right now.
Yep.
And in P11, which is P5? Yeah, P5 in the Group 3 class is PHG Diablo, getting those racing hards out of the way. Plenty of tire left, but getting down to just under a quarter tank of fuel. Has a 4.5 second lead over PHG Stamps. RTR Diablo also in the pits. C-Dubs, Digital Relay, and Diablo into the pits. Stamps, on the other hand, stays out, also running on the racing hards, but has over a quarter tank of fuel left. So certainly has a number of laps, can still go. Stay ahead of these guys. Jump ahead. See how long they can make those last. I think we still had Stumpy back in P13.
He just came out of the pit, so.
Okay, so yeah, he's got a big gap, but that's going to close up as Digital Relay and Diablo get out of the pits. Those times will all sync up as they get into turn 1. And that completes our Group 3 class.
Oh, he went wide into the triangle.
Oh, he did go wide. Yep, getting used to those new tires. We saw that from our broadcaster, Mr. Casual, yesterday as he switched tires. Had some issues getting slowed down in the Casio triangle. But there we go. King Apex still out our leader. 1.6 second lead over Felmora, so certainly out of slipstream range, but not by much.
And not for long. King Apex softs are definitely born, and he's feeling those. Felmora behind on the racing medium's got, half his tire left, and he's been able to close really, really quick on King Apex, down to half a second now.
Yeah, you want to stay on the racing softs because it is the superior tire, but once they start getting this worn, they're not really faster than the racing mediums anymore. So,
spend too much time.
We shall see. Is he going to go into the pits or is he going to stay out again? Stays out for another lap. That lead is now a fifth of a second. Felmora looks like going to try to make the pass heading into turn 1. They're side by side. They get to the braking zone. Felmora looks like he's got it. King Apex relents, gives Felmora the position.
We do
Good racing right there.
In the pits, Sector 7 Nuke, which handed the lead back to Vetter Dan.
Yeah, so those two are going to yo-yo back and forth quite a bit as we watch these tire strategies play out. As you mentioned, Papa, Felmora still has got plenty of tire on there. Is definitely going to be able to stay out for a number of laps. King Apex, certainly running low on tire, has a little bit of fuel. Ecstasy, again, half the tires left to go, about half a tank of fuel, so got that ratio down. 12 seconds behind King Apex, though.
Yeah, but Ecstasy, he's closing as well, being on those racing mediums. I think King Apex probably going to look back at this race, watching the replay, and think he probably should have pitted this last lap. I think he's hurting himself now. I mean, but that's not saying he's not playing, like you said earlier, not playing the long game. Just need to stay out for a less pit stop, or I mean, there's so many different strats you can do with this race. It's crazy.
Right, right. We saw
And
Krulov getting around Better Dan as lap traffic there.
yeah,
Good clean pass. Krulov running on the hards. Got plenty of fuel. Plenty of fuel left to go. Kind of on an island. Well, he is only 1.7 seconds back from Saint. So Saint he can see him. He's got that carrot dangling in front of him, trying to run him down. I believe that gap was bigger. And King Apex is in the pits now, getting off of those soft tires. Let's see how far back he comes out. And he might be behind Krulov by the time this is said and done. Hasn't started refueling yet. And Krulov getting onto the straight. But that will be one of the tire compounds out of the way. Curious to see if he comes out on mediums or hards. How long they run. Fueling that thing up. Probably going to put in a full tank of fuel, because they should be able to run it all the way down with the other two tire options.
right.
Looks like Krulov lost a little bit of time to Saint. He's now over 2 seconds. But can still see him. King Apex comes out on the mediums. Looks like the pit road exit has fully dried out.
On the mediums and 50 seconds behind Felmora.
Yeah, 50 seconds.
He's in the lead, or in second.
Yep. About a 50-second pit stop.
Yeah.
All right, now that we got a bit of a gap going, we're gonna do a little bit of crank it up and let you guys listen to the sounds of these engines as these cars go around. So enjoy the screaming sounds of these engines. All right, and we are back. See, Palmora still out at the beginning. Digital Relay, though, off in turn 1 and turn 2, P13. Back at last place. Oh, man, I don't know why Digital Relay is all the way back there. Maybe it had an issue. Let's see what happens here. As they come into turn 1, it's back at P13. One more spot back. Oh, there's Stumpy. Or no, Digital Relay must be... Oh, he's already off. He was up farther ahead.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, we didn't see what happened there. Here, let's take a look at that again. Let's see it from Digital Relay's perspective. Here he goes. Oh, just gets snapped on him. Yep, just started to slide, and he tried to catch it and overcorrected. Sent it back into the wall. Does not have any damage, thankfully.
Yeah, I don't think.
But certainly going to have some ground to make up.
Yeah, he's currently 5.2 seconds behind Stumpy. Stumpy's hanging in there. Got to give him that, man. He's only a couple of seconds behind Stamps.
This is such a long race that you can do, and we saw this yesterday. We saw drivers do full-on spins multiple times.
Yeah.
And still finish on the podium. I mean, that's the nice thing about that. If you have an incident early on, it's not like, oh, I'm done, rage quit. It's like, stick with it. You're going to make up some spots. You may not win, but there's still a possibility of a podium. I don't know. I enjoy these endurance races like this. We watch Stamps. Stamps goes a bit deep.
The race leader in the pits, coming in off those mediums. And he was about 47 seconds ahead of King Apex at the time of the pit. So we'll see where they come out, where Femora comes out in relations to King Apex, because they were the race leaders at the start of this pit cycle. Save is also in the pits.
STC inherits the lead. Yeah, King Apex should be right there with Felmora and Saint by the time this is all said and done. Felmora up quite a ways.
King Apex just crossed the start-finish line. Felmora's still fueling up on fuel. It's going to be close. He's gone. 6 seconds. Been growing, about 7 seconds. We saw that Felmora came out on the soft tires, Saint came out on the medium tires. So they'll be getting their chase to run them down. Our Group 3 leader is in the pits, Vetterdan.
Look, no tire, no fuel.
Right.
Man, Vetterdan's just all about running these things into the ground as much as possible. So,
well, and by stretching these tires out, he may be eliminating an extra pit stop.
yeah, I mean, if we saw a full pit stop with a full refuel being 50 seconds, that's a lot of time to save.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Could be long game here. We'll see what he comes out on. So again, we check in with our leader, Estasy. Really low on fuel. Probably only going to make it this one more lap. Those racing mediums also coming down. Has a 13-second lead on Krulov, who hit the pits. Going to get off of those hard tires. That should promote King Apex up into P2. King Apex ahead of Felmora.
Dan coming out on the racing mediums, right behind Stumpy and right ahead. I mean, literally right ahead of Stamps.
Oh, who did we lose? Oh, we lost Fernando. It's like engine failure. Had to take it back to the garage. That is rather unfortunate.
They'd see it for sure. So we got Krulov, who's in the pits. Looks like he is coming in off those racing hards, getting a fuel tank of fuel. See if we can't tell which tires he comes out on here. What you guys are watching, he does. He's coming out on the racing medium.
Okay. P5. Looks like not real far off of Saint. Just over 3 seconds.
Yep. You can see him.
Yep. 1 minute off of Estasy, although Estasy, I believe, should be hitting here very shortly.
Yeah,
that should get us a little closer on the pit strategies, but with some people having gone softs and some having gone hard, this is all still a bit of a question mark.
Right.
So we get down to that last 15 minutes or so.
See in the pits.
There we go with no fuel. Zero fuel.
And King Apex just exited Spoon, so Probably
We'll
going to
see.
be 10 to 15 seconds ahead of Ecstasy by the time Ecstasy comes out.
All right, while we watch this, everybody out there in YouTube land, remember to hit those like and subscribe buttons. Support Mr. Casual running the broadcast behind the scenes here, doing a great job with the cameras. Here for PHG World Series Season 4, Round 3, Split 2. We're watching right now as we see Vetterdan in P10, which I believe is P5 in the Group 3 class. Come around, see Stumpy right ahead. Stumpy, man, bit of a comeback. Sitting in
Right.
P9 after having a real rough start. See King Apex working their way around that lap traffic in the S's, which is not the ideal spot.
Ecstasy coming out on the hards, and he is 20 seconds behind King Apex, our current leader.
All right, so King Apex back in the lead, 2.7 seconds over Felmora. Ecstasy, our pole sitter for this race, still sitting on the podium, P3, but 20-second gap. We are approaching the halfway point. We still have 46 minutes left to go. As we see Felmora working its way through some Group 3 cars. Gets around nicely. Stumpy there,
Felmora
9.
on the semi-fresh racing softs, he should be able to close that gap down to King Apex. But how long does he stay on those softs? Because it's going to come a point where they balance out to what Apex is running on his mediums, and then you're going to start losing time.
Yep, I think we saw it yesterday. There was some medium runners that were ahead of the soft runners that just held them up. Held them up enough that they wore their tires out and never quite got around.
Yep.
You know?
So a few times, yeah.
Stumpy probably going to hit the pits here. That fuel doesn't have much fuel left. Better Dan going to inherit the spot along with Stamps and Digital Relay. There you go, Stumpy into the pits.
That was close to the pit lane entry. Line cutting. Yeah, that's what I meant. Let's hope he doesn't get the 3-second pin.
We hope not.
Yes.
Better Dan now up into P9, which is P4. Three drivers. 9.3 seconds behind Diablo, but only 1.7 ahead of Stamps. Sorry, Papa, you were going to say?
I was going to say, all our Group 3 drivers are on the racing mediums currently. Some are a little bit more worn than others, but STC trying to get by Digital Relay through the S's. Nice pass. That's clean.
Yeah, we're at that point in the race, halfway through, in the middle of everybody's different strategies. As you mentioned, they just happen to all be on medium, so we're probably going to see everybody kind of hold position for now.
Right.
And then we'll get to the end where some of these drivers that are farther back are going to be on the softs and have an advantage to run down the people waiting for the hards at the end. And really hoping to see an exciting finish here.
Stumpy did come out on his race hards, but he only took half a tank of fuel.
Who was that?
Stumpy.
Stumpy, okay. Has to see out on hards as well, but had a full tank of fuel. Got around Vetterdan on his racing mediums with 3/4 of a tank. Felmora has already burned through half of those softs, like we said.
Yeah.
Not going to get anywhere near, and had taken a full tank of fuel. I think we've seen that. I think that's a mistake that some of these drivers have made, that when you go to the softs, you don't fuel it all the way up. Because that kind of burns those tires more, trying to carry all that weight around.
Yep, exactly. I think you were probably correct on that.
It does mean that when they switch to the next compound, they won't have to fuel up as much, but having fewer laps on those softs. We all know you want to stretch out the softs as long as you can.
Yeah, Apex caught C-dubs right as they entered the S's and was having a hard time getting by him. And
There he
Felmora
finally gets by, but Felmora is right there.
Yeah. I mean,
all over him, heading to the Degnars.
I mean, I know that's got to be frustrating for King Apex, but there really isn't much room for C-dubs to go anywhere to get out of the way through those S's. Yeah, that's pretty much single line through there.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen them go too wide. If you can get inside and get the position,
Yeah,
then regular racing rules apply, and you gotta give it to them. But unfortunately, it slows everybody down
yeah,
when you do that. If you can be patient and wait as you get through, we're gonna watch this again. And he's right up on C Dubs. C Dubs is just running his line as he's supposed to. King Apex just wants to get around so bad because Felmora is right there. You can see him flashing the
right.
lights. Does get
Yep.
the inside line coming through the left-hander. Felmora able to just follow him through. That's the nice thing about being the second car there, is that
Yep.
once you make that hole, you can just go right on through it. Still has a half-second lead. With Felmora's tires probably below halfway now. Oh, looks like he might be trying to go for it. They got Nuke with lap traffic trying to get around. They split him. Nuke holding his line in the middle. They approach turn one. King Apex dance on that throttle as they go through, trying not to overdrive the car. Felmora losing a little bit of time. King Apex maybe felt that position and is now a little too hungry. Needs to reset, see if he can catch back up.
Yeah, and I think now at this point in both these guys' tire wear, you're seeing those mediums are now probably the better tire over the Ford softs. I think Femora is going to have a hard time getting around King Apex.
Yeah, King Apex does have less fuel too, so less weight.
Right.
To maybe able to get through there, has increased that lead to a whole second. But they have a lot of clean air ahead of them now. So King Apex can just put in some laps, and maybe that was it. Maybe it's just that he kept catching traffic, and that kept Felmora on him. We'll see with this clean air if he can pull a little bit of a gap, or if they stay about the same. It is up to 1.1 seconds. Oh, but Felmora had a better exit, running him down, has the slipstream. Oh, but now backs off. Now is losing some time. Interesting. Oh, the hybrid ran out. So Felmora ran out of the hybrid before King Apex did. That's something we haven't talked about yet today, is this hybrid systems. Trying to manage that is a bit of an art, right? I mean, these are two different cars that they're running. So the recharge rates of that hybrid system and how aggressively it's used as you get on the throttle can be quite a bit different. So Felmora may have a little bit more bite coming out of a corner, but it seems like King Apex has lasted a little bit longer. And I'm not sure if that's a difference in the cars or a difference in their driving style.
That's hard to say. I mean, I'm going to have to go, I guess for me, I'd probably say the driving style. Because watching the hybrid system with King Apex on board with him right now, I mean, he's recharging that thing to full. I mean, he has got a lot of hybrid, where Felmora coming out at the same turn, he's out. I mean, and that's all driving.
Yeah, you get onto these long straights, and King Apex will probably have it, but it looks like in the, like the Degnars and through the S's, depending on if Felmora can lift and coast, through those S's, maybe even dab the brakes here and there and not overdrive it through the S's could certainly recharge it a little bit more. But you see there, going through Spoon, only got it up to maybe a quarter.
Right.
And those racing softs are almost dead.
Yeah.
You got to wonder if Felmora is going to come in at the end of this lap here.
If it were me, I would. I mean, we've seen how much time's lost on these things, but again, you don't know what their fuel strat's like.
Still with half a tank of fuel, would only have to fill it halfway up.
Right.
Would certainly lose a spot to S&C. Not going to go in. Going to stay out one more lap. I think the tires will last, but they're going to be pretty rough by the time we get to the end of lap 28. Group 3 cars, as we check in with them, we got S7R's Nuke still leading the Group 3 category. 9-second lead over C-Dubs, who has kind of been comfortable there in P2 in the class. 25-second lead over Vetter Dan.
Stumpy just came in again and went from hards, and he is now on racing softs.
I think we saw that yesterday. We saw some people do double stints on softs.
Yeah.
It's a gamble.
Didn't take any fuel, so I mean, it was a pretty quick stop. He is 15 seconds behind Stamps.
That's the thing with the extra pit stop. You don't have to fuel as much on each stop. So now there is some time that you lose on the animation of fueling it up. So there may be even a strategy of taking one of those soft runs and fuel it all the way up, so the next time you pit, you don't have to fuel at all. And I think you save like 2 seconds if you don't put in any fuel. So that's always an option as well, which in these long races, I mean, there's so many different possible strategies of where to save time and how much time you lose by saving time. As we ride along with Stamps here, you can see he just came out of the pits, has a fresh set of medium and a full tank of fuel. Should be set to go for a while. We still have 36 minutes left to go. I don't know, can anybody make it with 36 minutes? I think everybody's going to have at least one more stop.
Yeah, I think at least one more stop.
Felmora in the pits. Yeah, look at that front right. It is Dead Z.
Dead.
Deadzo?
Deadzo.
Dedzameister? Dead. We'll see. With the half a tank of fuel, we'll see what he goes on. He was on racing soft, so he's certainly going to be on mediums or the hards at this point, which is probably going to be a full fuel load. That's going to give King Apex some breathing room. Back in the lead. Ecstasy back up into P2. Once again, I don't know that this is going to allow Felmora to make it to the end of the race. Did fill it all the way up, racing mediums. We know racing mediums is basically a full tank of fuel.
Yeah, but you're talking, what? I mean, there's still 15 to 20 laps left in this race. Those mediums won't last that long.
Right, but could do another set of softs to finish it out.
Right.
C-Dub's coming in. Our P2 runner in the Group 3 class.
Pretty low on the fuel.
Oh yeah, he had to come in.
Yeah.
Felmora ended up coming out P4, 11 seconds off of Saint, but still 2 seconds ahead of Krulov. Getting around Stumpy there. Through the Degnars, that's a tough one. That's a tough pass to make.
Yeah, it is.
And Krulov also approaching the lap car of Stumpy, getting through the hairpin. Should be able to easily get around. Stumpy moving over, giving Krulov the exit. And we were just looking there. Krulov still had quite a bit of hybrid at the same spot on the track. Yeah, had almost like half the hybrid there. Felmora's only recharging it like a quarter or so. Whereas these other cars, it might be a difference in the vehicle.
So C-Dubs just came out of the pits on racing hards and a full fuel tank. Fuel tank of fuel. Yeah,
Full tank of fuel? A fuel tank of full?
Yeah, he may be trying to stretch this to the end.
You could. I mean, if you want to adjust your fuel map and try to just be real smooth with your inputs, if you've got clean air around you, it's possible. I just wonder how much time they're going to lose as opposed to going full send and just throwing on another set of softs at the end. We certainly saw a lot of drivers do that yesterday.
Yep.
Double stint on softs. And I think that's what Felmora is going to do. But we'll see. Probably isn't, I don't know. I wonder if Felmora is getting as good of gas mileage as well without having as much hybrid. If his hybrid's running out on these long stretches, whereas the other cars, the hybrid, they've always got some, are probably getting better fuel mileage as he catches digital relay in the Degnars. Remaining patient through Degnar 2 and should easily get the pass done, headed to the hairpin. Good patience by Felmora there. Once again, Krulov going to catch the the car that the Felmora gets around at the hairpin. Going to get around digital relay. Going to have to go around digital relay on the left. We saw him go around go around Stumpy on the right. Good awareness of the other drivers. About a 2-second gap to Felmora. Goes a bit wide there at Spoon, but keeps it
to
on.
Just missed the triangle in P2.
SSC in P2. Catch a replay of that.
Missed his braking point.
Ooh, he has front engine damage and front left tire damage. Let's see what happens here. Papa, take us through it.
Just super late on his brakes. Couldn't make the turn. Just went to the wall. Not much you can do there.
That is tough. It's one of those where you're trying to manage the situation and not make it worse, and getting to that wall made it worse.
That's something I would definitely do.
But still in P2. Now, granted, only a 1.5 second gap to Saint behind. You know, quite a bit of gap there to King Apex now, 30 seconds. But still in P2 with a lot of fuel and a lot of tire left to go. Definitely going to have one more stop.
Yeah, I think he lost probably about 8 seconds to King Apex. I think he was down around that 22 second mark. Our Group 3 leaders in the pits.
Down to 3% fuel. 27-second gap to Vetterdan. Vetterdan should be able to re-inherit the lead. Man, we've seen these cars go from Vetterdan's back in P5 in class, back to P1 in class.
Yeah.
It's impossible to predict this stuff.
Right.
30 minutes left. We are 2/3 of the way through this race. 30 minutes is still a long race by daily race standards. But might be what we're getting to that point where this is what these drivers are used to. But the tire strats are going to start coming into play once we get into this final third. Looks like Nuke took on a full tank of fuel and coming out on racing mediums. 30 minutes left to go. We were just theorizing that C-Dubs might be trying to stretch a 36-minute run. Still has 7/8 of a tank of fuel and all of his racing cards left. I don't know if mediums are going to last for 30 whole minutes.
Yeah, I don't think mediums will last.
Diablo right behind C-Dubs. Again, C-Dubs with the fresh tires. What kind of tires does Diablo have at this point? Diablo, ooh, looking to make a move. Wasn't quite able to get in there.
Yeah, Diablo's really pushing C-Dubs. I'm guessing C-Dubs is in fuel management. He's trying to stretch this to the end, I believe.
Krulov there. With so much patience watching those two battle, wanting to get around. I mean, the Group 3 cars are allowed to battle, and a Group 1 car can get stuck behind them. But Krulov waited and was able to get around them, just heading into Dagnar 1 and 2. RTR Diablo going for the pass in the hairpin. Gets around C-Dubs. Let's watch this again.
Yeah.
As they approach the hairpin, Diablo's got to run. C-Dubs goes a little defensive, but Diablo all the way on the inside gets it stopped. The slightest of taps, but made that pass stick. Really made it stick on the apex. That was a brave move, and man, he made it work.
Yeah, so now C-Dubs is...
Can we go to Diablo? I want to see what his tires are at. Because C-Dubs has fresh tires. Well, his racing mediums, he still has like 2/3 of them left, so still plenty of grip.
Yeah.
That took some talent to make that work. Only half a tank of fuel, though, so had a lot less weight to get slowed down. Here they go, our Group 3 cars finishing up their lap. Saint in the pits. Getting off of those mediums, fueling the car up. I think we'll see as we get down to, I mean, within 30 minutes, these cars that are coming out on like racing hards could possibly make it. Saint coming out on the racing softs. So we'll definitely need to pit at least one more time. Could be doing a double stint of softs at this point. but 28 seconds behind Trulov. But those racing softs could be reeling him in quick. We can already see that time coming down rapidly. Krulov on worn mediums. Only have about a third of that left, about a quarter tank of fuel. Krulov will be coming in within the next 2 to 3 laps. 11 seconds up to Felmora, who still has almost 3/4 of the tank of fuel and plenty of tire to go, but will likely need to pit one more time unless they are in extreme management mode. 9 seconds behind Ecstasy. Ecstasy, once again, our pole sitter. Only a quarter tank of fuel left, so we'll definitely have to pit one more time, but is on the racing hards. So we'll have that out of the way. I would imagine we'll come out on either softs or mediums, depending on just how much time is left and just what kind of tire management Ecstasy thinks they can do. King Apex going through the hairpin here, looking like he's going to have to pit. Probably on the next lap, I would imagine.
Yeah, probably.
Almost done with those racing mediums. They're going to, his lap times are probably falling off. Well, actually, if you look at his lap times, 148, 49, 49, 50, 49, 49, still pretty consistent, even with worn tires. But has a comfortable 28-second lead. Felmora is the one who's got the most to work with right now, as far as tires and fuel. He's sitting in P3. See King Apex coming to the Casio Triangle. Looks to have, I think that was some lap traffic ahead. And Stumpy should be able to get around them easily by turn 1. And now the fuel gauge is red, which means it will likely be coming in at the end of this lap, which will be under 24 minutes left to go. Better Dan here will be coming in pretty soon as well.
Yeah,
Finishing this lap off, he is on fumes at this point. Hopefully he calculated that right. Gets to the Casio Triangle. Only like 100 yards to go. Dive into the pits. Still under power. All good. Math that just right at 0%.
Again, that's the second or third time he's done that today.
But that means Nuke here will likely re-inherit the lead. Nuke still has plenty of tire and plenty of fuel. 3/4 of a tank left to go with 24 minutes. Is that enough?
That's going to be close.
Oh, man. It's going to be close. But these guys know what they're doing. May have planned it that way. Being Sector 7, I'm sure they've practiced these strategies out.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Sitting 12 seconds ahead of Diablo right now.
Better Dan is in the pits.
Fuel it all the way. Going to come out on hards. So he will definitely be done. 23
he's
minutes.
Definitely good, yeah.
Yep, he is good to go to the end for sure. So full tank of fuel and hards, as opposed to Nuke, which has 3/4 of a tank of fuel and some worn mediums. C-Dubs also on hards, but has just over a half a tank left to go, will likely need to come in. Currently sitting in P3 in class. And Diablo definitely going to need to come in. Only a quarter tank of fuel left. Probably 2-3 laps from now. Should be their last pit stop of the day. For the night. Yeah, I don't know. S7R Nuke may have the perfect strategy here. Comfortable 12-second lead and may not have to stop. Trulov now in the pits. Our P4 runner in the Group 1 class. It's like he was on an island there. 15 seconds behind Felmora and 22 ahead of Saint.
It's
22 minutes to go is probably going to have to put a significant amount of fuel in here. So they will be in the pits for a while. Saint on the racing softs, though, is not going to make it 22 minutes, I don't think. So we'll probably have one more pit stop for them. Valmora, again, sitting in P3, that has those tires down to about half already. And a half a tank of fuel with 20 minutes to go. Probably going to have one more pit stop as well. 7 seconds. S to C. King Apex in the pits. 1% fuel left. Ran those racing mediums. I would imagine, I think King Apex still has to get on the hards.
Probably see SC coming in this lap too.
I agree. So that's going to promote Valmora to P1 temporarily, at least. I don't think they're going to be able to make it the rest of the way.
I don't think so either.
Now, we were talking early on about Vetterdam, who stayed out really long on those intermediate tires to maybe try to get one less pit stop. What's Vetterdam's situation looking like with 20 minutes to go? Again, he's on the racing hards with a full tank of fuel. In P9, he is definitely set to go to the end and could probably full send it the whole time.
Right.
You know, C-Dubs and Diablo are both likely going to have to come in. Vetterdam may end up with P2 at the end of this if Nuke doesn't have to pit. If Nuke does have to pit, Vetterdam can take it.
So King Apex came out on racing hards, 3/4 tank of fuel. He's probably set to go.
Yep.
S to C is coming out on the racing softs with a full tank of fuel, but he did just pick up a 3-second penalty on his entrance.
That's
That's
rough.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not sure. I mean, they're probably looking at about 12 more laps, 11 to 12 laps. I'm not sure racing softs are going to last that. So
Might be doing a double stint on the softs. You know, only run them halfway down so that they don't start to.
Yeah.
You know, you don't start losing time and you just eat it. You know, just change out the tires with no fuel is a pretty quick pit stop we saw.
It is. Yeah.
We got Diablo in the pits. Knew they were coming in soon. C-Dubs, I think, still has a little while, but will eventually need to pit. I would imagine we'll do one final stint on softs at the end. Digital relay with quite a bit more wear than Dan here. Dan is set to go. Digital relay, half a tank of fuel and over half the tire. 19 minutes. That would be tight.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to make it. Maybe.
Diablo coming out on racing softs.
All right, Diablo going to try to put in some fast laps. Stamps, his teammate, in the pits now, just fueling up. Now let's see. These guys are probably calculating where they need to be. Let's see how much fuel they come out on. We can go back to Stamps there.
And yeah, Stamps.
Oh, he's putting in a full tank.
He also came out on the softs.
Okay. Well, he might be doing the double stint as well.
Right.
Vetterdam sitting in P3 in class. Digital Relay not far behind. Again, Digital Relay is on the does have a lighter car and has the superior tire, although the tire is worn halfway. Probably has more pace right now, but it's only going to take a couple more laps, and as those tires start to get down to a third and a quarter tread left, are going to start to suffer.
And Digital, he's going to have to pit again too. So
yeah,
I mean, if you're Vetterdam and he catches you, just let him go. . Yeah.
And still got 17 minutes to go. Starting to wind down this race a bit. Got King Apex coming up on Digital Relay and Better Dan. Hopefully, we'll be catching them as they come out of the S's.
He's hoping
No.
so.
Gonna get him right at this left-hander, but once they clear and they get back on the throttle, he should be able to get by. Might be able to get by both of them before Degnar won. Oh, barely. It's right there. Nope, it's gonna have to back off. Wait till after Degnar 2. Then clear Better Dan. Good patience.
Yep.
He's 15 seconds back from Felmora, so certainly has some time to make up. Unless Felmora is going to have to... Oh, Felmora is definitely going to have to pit. Only a quarter tank of fuel. Those tires are starting to get down there. With King Apex set to the end, maybe looking at our winner if... I mean, I'm not going to speak too soon. There's still plenty that can happen. But appears to be sitting in the catbird seat. He is in control of this race. And that should keep Ecstasy probably in P2. I mean, King Apex, Ecstasy, and Felmora have kind of been the top three through most of this race. They've been the class of the field in Group 1. And they've been swapping positions quite a bit, but still staying in those top three. Here we go. We see C-Dubs in the pit. Our P2 runner in Group 3. Still has 30% fuel left. But getting off of those hards, probably going to fuel it up just a little bit, maybe to halfway. Softs might be able to last for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Let's see what he does here.
Yeah, you're only looking at about 7 laps now, so I think softs can
Yeah.
last 7 laps. They're going to be worn at the end of those 7 laps, but they'll get you to the end, I think.
Yeah, 65% fuel, so this is a light car. I think we saw this yesterday. The cars that waited till the very end to run softs and didn't fill the tank all the way up started setting the fastest laps.
Yeah.
Now, granted, this is Group 3, so we won't see that on the fastest lap chart. We got Ecstasy holding that in Group 1. But could certainly be putting down some heaters right now. I mean, still sitting in P3 overall. I think at this point, our positions 1, 2, and 3 for Group 3 may be set to the end of the race. Digital Relay likely going to have to come in one more time, which may give C-Dubs the position back. See, Better Dan still looking real good. Over half a tank of fuel. Practically all of his tire left. Still holding off Digital Relay. Digital Relay is within a second. You know, might be doing a little bit of fuel saving. So, you know, you can spend less time in the pit. Maybe conserve one more position at the end of this race. But those mediums are down to about a third, so they are definitely worn. Probably about even with Better Dan's racing hards at this point. I would imagine a quarter tank of fuel. That's going to be, what, 3 more laps? Ecstasy approaching these two. Should be around them before we get into turn 1. Stay in the middle of the track. Oh, not going to catch Better Dan. Oh, he's going to go for the inside. He does. Better Dan gives him the room. Give him the flashies to let him know he was there. Well done.
Flashed him.
12.5 minutes to go. Duke here, our leader in Group 3, has a little over a quarter tank of fuel, and half of those mediums are gone. And if he's going to make this work to the end, it is going to be very close.
Yeah.
King Apex approaches him, gets around on the outside, heading to Spoon. I don't know. He is going to have no resources left when we get to the end of this race.
Just to let you know how well he did his homework, his practice.
Yeah, I mean, he does have a 32-second lead over Better Dan. He can certainly dial back the fuel and ease up on the corners to save the tire. So it may look worse than what it is. Felmora in the pits. %, fuel left. But those tires probably gonna put on the softs at this point.
Yeah, I would think so. He probably has it timed out. He knows how much fuel he needs, how many laps he can get.
Yeah, let's see here. I'm gonna fuel it up. We're at halfway. Okay, so half a tank of fuel. 11 minutes to go. Nobody's on racing hards. Must not have gotten the hards out of the way. I mean, running the hards on a lower tank of fuel does help as far as with lap times.
And, you know, with STC coming up behind him pretty fast, but STC's used half of his racing softs. By the time he actually catches Felmora, I don't know if he's going to have enough tire left to get by him.
Yeah, with a 4-second gap. Krulov in the pits, getting off of those softs. Plenty of tire left. I would imagine probably going to go on softs again. Unless they still need to do their hard requirements. I haven't been keeping track of who did what. Yeah, no fuel at all. Back on the racing softs. Full send from here on out for Krulov. 7.5 seconds behind Saint. Well, they're saying in the chat that Nuke is going to go on to hards for the last 3 or 4 laps. That's coming from his teammate in Hovercraft, so sounds like he'll have one more pit stop at the end.
That's what Dan wanted to hear.
Claiming credit on that strategy, apparently. But yeah, Nuke is running low on that tire. Quarter tank of fuel. Probably going to have to add some fuel. Not a lot. But with a 31-second gap, yeah, without having to add much fuel, oh man, that's good. Yeah, I think him and Better Dan may have a fight here at the end. I mean, Better Dan's still going to have good tire at that point. Ecstasy in the pits.
Probably going to see
plenty of fuel. Going to go
digital relay here soon too.
The softs are worn down. Now that we're within 10 minutes, any pit stops now should be the final pit stops for everybody. STC did not fuel, so it came out in P3. 20 seconds off of Felmora.
17 seconds ahead of Saint. So
1, 2, and 3 looking pretty locked up as long as nobody makes a egregious error. Saint and Krulov, NVR teammates, not far off from each other, 3.5 seconds. Let's see, Saint on worn softs. What's Krulov got?
So he just came out on softs.
Oh, Krulov with fresh softs.
And purple.
Be another fight to watch as these laps wind down. Under 3-second gap now. Catching Saint quick. Krulov now having to deal with digital relay, does get around him. Go through the hairpin. Ooh, gets held up by Better Dan a little bit there. That killed some of Krulov's momentum. That gap to Saint is back over 3 seconds. They go through Spoon here. Saint exiting Spoon.
You're going to see Sector 7 digital relay. He'll be pitting this lap. He's super low on fuel. Nuke stayed out. For those teammates.
Digital Relay has almost no fuel and almost no tire.
Yeah. C-Dubs may be able to get by Digital Relay when he's in the pits. He is
25 seconds. They're
Yeah,
going to be pretty close.
it's going to be close, yeah.
There's going to be a number of these battles now are going to start raging for these last 5 minutes.
Yep.
Had everything all spread out. As TK's mentioned yesterday, I love at the end as they all suddenly come back together. Vetter Dan almost went wide there. We saw the back end kind of wiggle as he probably jerked the steering wheel going, I'm getting too close to the side.
Do little things.
Kept it on. Still plenty of tire left. A 31-second gap to Nuke.
C-Dubs has jumped Digital. Coming out right behind him, though.
He's on the racing softs, but they are
Digital
almost
came out on
half worn.
hards.
So Digital Relay is going to have fresh tires at the end. C-Dubs is going to be fighting some tire wear. I think he can make it, but Digital Relay has a chance to catch. About 3 laps left to go. Looks like these guys are doing 2-minute 5s. We just passed the 6 minutes to go mark. Nuke up here with a 30-second lead. The fuel tank is blinking. Will likely be coming in now. And yeah, that'll be 3 laps. We need just 3 laps of fuel. That's not going to be much.
30-second lead on Dan.
Yep. See where he comes out.
Yep.
Better Dan just exited Spoon. Coming up to 130R. This is going to be very close. That will be a fight for the lead.
Luke still
Group 3.
hasn't hit his pitch yet. Pulling in now. Getting his tires.
Is he going to fuel to like
Fueling.
20%? 20, 25, 30,
Leading now.
28. Oh, he's going to come out ahead. He's
Side
coming
by
out now.
side. Here we go.
Oh, he's up there. Better Dan can see him.
Both on racing hard tires, but Dan obviously is a little bit more used.
I think Better Dan has slightly less fuel as well. Duke filled up to 30%. Better Dan is below 25. I don't know if that is Better Dan under-fueled or if Duke over-fueled. Well, 1.6 seconds. This race is on. 3 laps to go for these guys. But we run through the field quick as we get to the end. We've got King Apex with a 15-second gap, plenty of resources to go over Felmora. Felmora racing hard, again, quarter tank of fuel, 23-second gap back to Ecstasy. And Ecstasy with a 19-second gap, running those racing softs. Certainly could be chasing down Felmora, but there's just too much to go. And oh, a little bit of contact there going into 130R between teammates Saint and Krulov. Would like to get a replay of that. Oh, and Krulov goes around, coming out of the Casio triangle. I don't know if Saint bumped him or if he just got on the loud pedal a little too much.
I think there was just a bare tap, but I think Saint just made sure. Kudos to him for giving the spot back. Just in case. You never know.
Did he wait? Yep, he's sitting there waiting. They got into each other going into 130R, and then got into each other again going out of the Casio triangle. Now there's a 2.3 second gap. That might be a bit much with only 3 minutes to go.
Yeah.
But that's it for Group 1. In Group 3, we've got Nuke. Now only has a 1.1 second lead on Better Dan. In P2, that is going to be the fight to watch. Let's quickly get through the rest. We got C-Dubs 28 seconds back in P3. Digital Relay another 3 seconds back. Diablo another 3 seconds back from that. Stamps 43 seconds behind Diablo, and Stumpy 13 seconds back from there. So if we get back up to P6, P7, that is our fight. Looks like Nuke has pulled away a little bit, 1.4 seconds. Getting down to that 2-minute mark. They have almost 2 laps to go. It's like Better Dan having a little bit better exit, bringing that down 1.1 second as they enter into Duke going through Degnar 1. Coming out of Degnar 2, this is an important one.
It's solid.
Duke got a little bit better exit as they approach the hairpin. Duke down to the apex. Better Dan also down on the apex, trying to get on that power for this long straightaway. Better Dan had a slightly better exit. He is within slipstream range. These long sections now, he could reel him in. King Apex navigating this battle. It's around Better Dan just fine. It's around Nuke just fine. That might have slowed Nuke down when he had to give him some space. Better Dan now has that down to 0.6 seconds. He will have plenty of slipstream heading into 130R and should be on his bumper as they get into the Casio Triangle.
This is just crazy. 90 minutes of racing, rain, weather, night, day, multiple pit strats, and it comes down right now just over half a second difference from first to second.
1 lap to go. Looks like Nuke got through the Casio Triangle there a little bit better, has stretched that lead out to 0.8 seconds, but Better Dan trying to use that slipstream to gain as much advantage as possible. This is a brave moment going into turn 1 and turn 2. We saw Better Dan almost go wide before. He keeps it down, back onto the apex, trying to get on that power. Nuke pulling away just a little bit. 0.9 seconds.
And you know, Dan might be able to close up on his bumper, but catching him and passing him is two different things. So
Absolutely. Nuke has actually pulled away a little bit more, got it up to 1.2 seconds there. Still keeping that 1 second lead. Better Dan still sniffing at that slipstream. A little later on the brakes, heading into Degnar 1.
yeah, Philmora coming up behind these two. Try and get by. Dan can use Philmora's slip to help propel himself back up to Nuke a little bit. Nuke can try and use that slip to pull himself away.
Still got that 1 second gap. Nuke's been able to
Yeah.
just kind of hold on to it here.
Yep.
This is the final straightaway before we get to the Casio Triangle. I think Dan has run out of time.
He's almost out of fuel.
They need no mistakes at this point. Here they go through 130R. Nuke keeping it on, no problem.
King Apex across the line is our top winner.
King Apex with the overall win.
Yep. Philmora, 13 and a half seconds behind him.
Amora P2 and Nuke coming across the line as our Group 3 winner. Better Dan closely behind, made it a race at the end. Well done, gentlemen. SSC
sure.
going through
I'm
the
not
Casio Triangle, going to finish P3. SSC, our pole center at the beginning of this race, rounds out the podium. C-Dubs back in P8, or P3 in the Group 3 class, as Diablo
Charging.
with a battle. We didn't see that there, but as long as C-Dubs doesn't spin it, coming out, should be able to hold on to P3 podium position.
Oh, Diablo. Got the half second pit. Digital relay out of fuel.
Digital relay out of fuel. Coming around to finish this race off. Comes through the final corner.
Such a low
No
rate.
chance of spinning
Low
it.
March. Yeah.
That slow march to the line. Hey, it wasn't a whole lap without the fuel. It was just part of a lap. But well done.
It's amazing how all that comes together at the end again.
Yeah.
For those-
And congratulations to
battles.
King Apex
Yes, absolutely.
taking the win. All right, Papa, you want to take us through the official results?
Absolutely. With our overall win, like you just said, King Apex. Congratulations. Belmora, P2, Ecstasy, PHG Ecstasy, wrapping up the podium, P3 in the GT1 class. Very nice. And then we got the teammates 4 and 5, Saint and Krulov with NVR. Our winner in the GT3 class, Sector 7 Nuke. Congratulations, sir. Right behind him, PHG Better Dan, who I'm not sure didn't run out of fuel himself as he crossed the line. And PHG C Dubs rounding out P3 at the podium for the Group 3 cars. Then we have RTR Diablo, Sector 7 Digital Relay, Stamps, Stumpy, and the unfortunate DNF in the GT1 for Fernando there back in the field.
All right,
Amazing.
so
Amazing.
that was an amazing race. We saw all the different possible strategies. We saw
Yeah.
some that we never even saw yesterday, with
Yep.
Vetter staying on those intermediates longer. We saw Diablo come in for intermediates during the wet weather. That was
During the beginning, yeah.
a new one as well. So, once again, congratulations to King Apex on the overall win, and Sector 7's Nuke for the Group 3 win. With that said, we do need to come up with a driver of the race. I think there were a lot of good candidates in this one. Papa, what one?
Right.
Who are you going to choose?
You know what? I think I'm going to go with Sector 7 Nuke. I think he just
Solid.
had the right strat to keep Dan behind him for most of the race, and we saw them leapfrogging with the strats through that whole race. And I'm going to give it to Sector 7. I think he ran a very smart. Not that Dan didn't. He just had that better race.
Sure. Solid choice. Um, seeing as how we're down a commentator, I'm going to give two. Uh, I'm going to cheat. I'm going to say Vetter for one, because I think he pulled off an amazing strategy to come from behind and
Yeah.
end up nice and close in P2 in the Group 3 class. But also, give it up to King Apex for, managing everything. He was able to get into the lead right away, fell back, did a lot of yo-yoing with the other Group 1 cars, stuck to his strategy, and was able to pull off an impressive overall win. So I will nominate both King Apex and Vetter. So everybody in the chat, make sure to go vote on that. We'll only have a little bit of time here while we kind of wrap things up for the votes to get in. Those of you out there, also, while you're voting, remember to hit that like and subscribe button while you're there. Give Mr. Casual some love, doing some amazing work behind the scenes to make this particular broadcast possible. But yeah, you know what? We can vote. Who should I vote? I got to put my vote in. I'm not going to say anonymous voting. That's what we're doing here. But man, what a race! I know we had a really long day yesterday with 2 hour-and-a-half long splits. This one actually seemed to go by a little faster for me personally. Maybe that's just because I wasn't running the broadcast; I was commentating on it. But
Right.
Papa, how'd you feel about the race? Any surprises from this particular one?
No, I won't say no huge surprises. Just again, it's just the race itself overall. Everybody had their little slips, but they stayed together. They stayed with each other. It was just a good race.
Yep.
I enjoyed it.
At the beginning, we had that big pile up with Saint when he got loose
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
wet, but I think we saw a lot less, wet tire, with racing tire or
Hmm.
wet conditions with racing tire issues than what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
I think the drivers maybe watched that and realized that they had to dial it back a little bit just to make sure to keep everything on the track, and it's a pretty clean race overall. Definitely a fun one to watch.
It
Again,
was.
this multi-class racing is something really unique here that we got going on in GT7 and here in the PHG World Series. It's been a
Yep.
fun one to commentate because there's certainly some action going on all the time.
Yeah.
But also just seeing how it all unfolds. I mentioned during the broadcast, I love these, kind of endurance style races where you can kind of run your own race, but then still race for it at the end. And we certainly
Right.
saw that today for sure.
Well, and this is only round 3 of 7. So we're, just right at that halfway point. We do have next week off from the actual PHG World Series. We'll be having our charity event that will be running pretty much 6 to 8 hours on Saturday with multiple races, multiple events, all for a good cause. So make sure you stay tuned to the Discord for all the information on that.
Yep, I
That's
believe
coming
our
up next
charity
Saturday.
coordinator Chuck has posted some information.
Yep.
The
Yep.
charity we will be racing for is Vet Motorsports, who does a lot
Mhm.
of work with veterans in giving them some opportunities in the motorsport community. Um, uh, good charity to be racing for. But yeah, we have a lot of events. We'll be running our All Star race during that event, so kind of PHG World Series related, and then a number of combos that Shaggy has come up with. We are going to do a livery competition again. We'll be getting out some details on what exactly that's going to be shortly, but that will be taking place Saturday afternoon. Is that going to start at 1 p.m. Central, same time we start the regular races?
I don't
I
know.
think it is. I
I
don't
don't
recall.
remember what
But
we've
you know what?
decided.
People can go to the papashouseofgame.com website and bookmark it so that when we add that information on the website, you'll be in the know. Or join the Discord, which the link you
Yes,
can also get to on the papashouseofgame.com website.
that's right.
So definitely. All right. So if we're going to wrap it up here, let's see. What do we got for our vote? Oh, geez. We got a 3-way tie in the voting. And we're just going to close it because all three of those drivers I think were good, solid picks.
Right.
So driver of the day is a 3-way tie between Nuke, Vetterdan, and King Apex. I think they all deserved it, to be
You
perfectly
couldn't
honest.
ask for a better result right there. That's
We
great.
have a politician here behind the scenes here. Doesn't want to make anybody mad. You all get a participation trophy. No, they all earned it. They all earned it for sure.
Uh,
So, all right, cool. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Papa, any final thoughts before we let the people go?
no, I just want to thank everybody, honestly, for being here, for everybody behind the scenes, for everybody in front of the camera, for all the racers, the drivers, the teammates that are helping them. That helps, put this whole thing together. It's incredible. I'm honored to be a part of it. Um, and I hope everybody's having a great time watching these things. I know I am.
Absolutely. I echo all those same things. All the work that goes in to put this together from all the different people behind the scenes, everything from the website to the graphics to just putting on the actual production. And of course, we
Yeah,
can't do it without the drivers. We have a lot of great drivers in the series. We love having you guys
facts.
out putting all this on. Thanks to our sponsors. We've got Simnet, we've got Paul Davis, we've got 4D Racewear, and we've got MZW. Thank you to them for helping make this possible and providing some prizes that we're gonna be giving away at the end of this series. So really excited to have them on board. Um, yeah, I mean, thank you, Papa, for being here, helping me commentate today. Thanks to
My
Mr. Casual
pleasure.
for running stuff behind the scenes and everybody who put in all the work here. Really, until next time, again, check us out on the Discord. Go check the website. Stay in the know. We'll see you guys next week for the charity event and the week after for round 4. So until then, peace out. Have a good weekend, guys. Take it easy.